William Stage here. I'm going to be reading from my new novel, St. Francis of Dogtown. It's May 12th, 2020, and the novel is has to do with a process server from St. Louis who stumbles upon a murder in a rural county not too far from St. Louis. I'll be reading from chapter 10, Danny Boy. It's mid-afternoon on Labor Day. Murphy's in Dogtown is a union-friendly bar, and many of its patrons this day had gone to the big parade downtown and then returned for further celebration. He wrapped up around 2:30 and made a beeline for Murphy's, a place that one may go to watch soap operas in the afternoon, quietly nurse a drink, and be left alone. Murphy's was not. When Francis walked in, Mickey Hannigan was in a heated discussion with Carl Bamer about the old standby, Danny Boy. "How can you disparage that song?" said Mickey, leaning into Carl, frowning, one elbow on the bar. "Hell, it's the most played song in Irish history. You listen to the words, those beautiful words. It's guaranteed to make you weep like a tyke." Carl spit contemptuously on the concrete floor. "Saccharine bullshit. Whoever wrote that song knew exactly what he was doing, causing generations of otherwise hale and noble Irishmen to blubber uncontrollable into their beer. Pitiful, just pitiful." Mickey eyed Carl with suspicion. "What do you mean, saccharine? What the hell's that?" "Saccharine as in sugary, sickly sweet. Danny Boy is a double chocolate truffle layer cake with gumdrops on top." Mickey thought about this. "Some of us like our confections with all the trimmings." Red Rush, sitting on his customary stool where the L-shaped bar took a turn, heard all this and called them over. When Red called you over, you went, with trepidation. Red had quite the storied past. Rumor had it that he was once a comer in the Teamsters Union. And here we go into an aside about how Red lost his cushy job as a steward at the brewery. We'll pick it up in the following paragraph. These days, the union hierarchy had Red on special assignment, giving him occasional scurrilous jobs that were supposed to be clandestine. In fact, he had just come from such a job at an art gallery over on Skinker, a freelance deal for the Glazers local. It was a high-end gallery, and looking in from the outside, he could see all sorts of art, painting, sculpture, some of it ugly or garish, but no doubt it brought big bucks to the art dealer. And all he did was show it, the weasel. Red stood at the front door, opened a thermos, and began to slosh something on the windows, which began to smoke and stink. It was a holiday and the place should have been empty, but soon, before he even finished, this prim little man in a pink polo shirt came out and wanted to know, "What's he doing?" "I'm pouring acid on your windows," Red told him matter-of-factly. "But why?" asked the art dealer, wringing his hands. "I just put these windows in." "So they'll look like shit, that's why," answered Red, stepping back to look at his work. "But why here?" the little man whined. "Why my building?" Red sneered at the question. "Because you use non-union labor to install them, you cheap prick." "Oh," said the gallery. "Oh," said the gallery owner, and went back inside. Today a thug for hire, but you could still see the uncorrupt schoolboy in him. The gleeful, well-adapted youth who only wanted to fit in, especially when his ginger hair tumbled forward onto his forehead. From his bar stool, Red regarded the two drudges before him. "Now, boys," he began, "I can see you've gotten yourselves at loggerheads over this song, and a beautiful song it is." The two men stood before Red, drinks in hand, shuffling nervously. Red took a swig of his Four Roses, the ice tinkling. He continued, Truth be told, Danny Boy is a song written to an old Irish air, so no wonder that it's been performed by countless artists, from Elvis Presley to Tommy Makem. It's like God Bless America. Each performer adds their own unique flair. Carl and Mickey nodded agreeably, thinking now that Red was giving them a tutorial of sorts. Red peered at them through bloodshot eyes. He'd been at it since morning, having been among the throng attending the downtown Labor Day hoolie. He arched his back, stuck out his 44-inch chest like a rooster preening. So you see, it's a song with immense variety. If you don't like one version because it's too sugary, as you rightly say, Carl, then there's another that you will likely take a shine to. The Eric Clapton acoustic version is quite nice, and so is the rendition by the Irish tenors. I've always liked the Bing Crosby version, put in Mickey. Red frowned at this, and Mickey wished he'd kept his mouth shut. Schmaltzy, but beautifully enunciated, Red opined. Mickey let out a sigh of relief. Yes, rumbled Red. Many fine renditions to choose from, and which one is on the jukebox right now, do you know? Andy Williams? From Carl? No, although that one isn't bad. The one we hear in this joint is by the great Irish tenor Frank Patterson. His is the most passionate and soulful version. And yes, it tends to make me weep, unabashedly. You can hear it sung in Miller's Crossing, a fantastic movie by my lofty standards, and you can also hear it here for a measly quarter. Red spread some change on the bar. He took a quarter and held it out. Carl, would you like to do the honors? Carl gave a nervous laugh. He didn't know Red as well as Mickey did. Didn't know that Red did not brook any insubordination from his minions. And that's what most of these patrons were to Red, sodden and imperious on his barstool throne. Red leaned back, ham-sized hands rubbing his ample belly. Absent-mindedly, he scratched at the side of his bulb-like nose, host to an intricate map of tiny broken capillaries. Looking the man up and down, he said, Carl, you seem like a reasonable fella. Can we agree at least that any performer who attempts Danny Boy will do their very best and show it the respect it deserves? He waved that question away. No need to answer. And may we agree that this tender message of life, love, and death, sung by melodious angels with a sweet and rousing delivery, is one of the greatest gifts Ireland has ever given to the free world. Carl began to hem and haw. Words came out of his mouth, but they weren't the right words. You fucking killjoy, snarled Red. Step forward. Carl stood his ground. Mickey watched with mouth agape. I said, step forward, damn you. Carl took a small step. Closer, commanded Red. Carl stepped up and Mickey moved aside. Put your drink down, said Red. Carl complied, placing his glass on the bar. Drinkers up and down watched intently. Mother of God! Cried Carl, just as Red chopped him in the throat. Carl staggered backward, clutching his windpipe, making awful retching sounds. Now you may buy the next round, said Red cheerily. Carl raised his arm, signaling Tommy the bartender. Then he staggered over to an empty table and sat with his head down in his arms, wishing he'd never brought up that stupid fucking song. Thank you.